Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to buy Bitcoin. A lot of people asked me about it a few years ago when it was very popular, but after the price crash, people got scared and lost interest in it. I'll note that it wasn't the first time we had seen this cycle with Bitcoin, and it probably won't be the last. Well, the price is moving more aggressively again, and I just want you to see how simple it is in case you want to jump into it. Just keep in mind that this is a risky investment and you should only buy Bitcoin if you've done your research and understand the risks, just like any other investment. This video is for newbies, so first I want to show you how to buy Bitcoin. After that, we'll talk about what Bitcoin is, how it works, and the most likely reason the price is moving around so much right now. So thankfully in the past year or so, it has become very easy to buy Bitcoin. From standard investment apps like Robinhood to payment platforms like PayPal and Cash App, it's not as complicated as it was just 3 years ago. So I'm going to show you how to do this with Robinhood and PayPal. I think both of these are just as good, with Robinhood having at least two advantages. The first is that when you use my Robinhood referral link, you and I will both get a free stock. Last year, from January to November, my free stock tripled in value, which I then sold and bought other stocks that have also been doing well for me so far. So first, I would recommend downloading the Robinhood app. Make sure that's done installing. Then come back and click on the referral link, which I'll include in the video description, post, or message me and I'll send that over. So tapping on the referral link will open up the app and ask you to create an account. Since this is an investment portfolio that you're creating, you'll need to provide your full contact and identification info so that this can be reported properly to Uncle Sam. So FYI, Robinhood will email you any statements or forms you might need to complete your taxes. All very standard for an investment account. During account creation, Robinhood is also going to ask you to tie your bank so that you can grab funds and start trading. You can skip this part for now, but you won't be able to do anything until you have a way to fund your account. By the way, another quick note, it can take a couple of days for both of us to get our free stock, but you can check on the status of that in the little profile button at the bottom right. So the second advantage is that you can also trade stocks. You can make a little money on Bitcoin and sell it off and use the profits for something more stable like Apple or Google stock. So once you've set up your account, you'll want to look up Bitcoin using the ticker BTC. Now at this point I should mention that Bitcoin has a couple of different versions. There is the original Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, and XBTC. A lot of these other ones have been created in an attempt to improve the original Bitcoin. There's an algorithm that works in the back end, and so there's been attempts at improvement for that. And while they may be better in some way or another, none have achieved the popularity of the original Bitcoin. So make sure you are buying BTC, the original Bitcoin. You'll see the price chart and the buy and sell buttons at the bottom. Just hit buy and enter how much in US dollars you want to invest. Then hit review and follow the prompts. Here's what that looks like. Since we don't have enough buying power right now, we haven't funded the account. We're going to actually need to confirm on the fly that we want to deposit these funds. And now we can actually place our order. Finally, we'll swipe up to submit our order, and that order will usually go through right away, but it will take Robinhood a few more days to debit your checking account. So when you're ready to sell, just go back to the BTC page again, and this time hit the sell button. Pretty straightforward stuff. Just make a note that at the top of this page, you'll see how much in US dollars you can sell. This will change depending on the current price. Mostly it's the same process as buying, except that once your order is confirmed, you're going to have the funds in your Robinhood account. So you can either put them towards another stock or transfer them out to your checking account. Now with PayPal, since most people already have an account, this is going to be a lot simpler. So you just open up your app, go to crypto down here at the bottom, and click on buy where it says BitCoin. The first time you do this, PayPal is going to ask you to review the terms and conditions. So continue, agree and continue, and then your account is confirmed. For now, I'm just going to get $5. Click next and select your payment method from those you have saved here in PayPal. You'll get a chance to review everything, and when you're ready, click on buy now. What's different about BitCoin here on PayPal is that there is a transaction fee. I actually didn't know there was a fee until my first transaction, so this is actually a third advantage for Robinhood in that there are no trading fees. Anyway, we'll go ahead and complete the transaction, and that's it. You now have an investment in Bitcoin. Just keep in mind that neither Robinhood nor PayPal provide you with a Bitcoin wallet, which means that technically that Bitcoin you bought is just an investment, you don't own it. If you want to truly own the Bitcoin, you would need to open a Big Boss account on a platform like Coinbase or Kraken, which is a little bit more complicated. So welcome to part 2. What is Bitcoin? Now I'm going to try and be as non-technical as I can, even though it can probably get a little messy, but hopefully this will make sense to you newcomers. So Bitcoin is a digital currency, and as of this recording, one Bitcoin is currently worth around $35,000. When we say Bitcoin is at 20K or 30K or 40K, we're talking about a whole coin. But you don't need to buy a whole coin. Since this is digital currency and it is very expensive, you can actually buy very small fractions of it. Bitcoin was invented around 12 years ago with the idea that this digital currency would be the money of the future. Yes, the inner workings are very technical and some people are scared of it because of that, but in basic terms, Bitcoin is money that is not controlled by any government or country. It is what's called a decentralized currency. There isn't a federal bank or mint printing it. It'll help to break down Bitcoin in 3 parts, with the first part being the wallet. For a long time, Bitcoin was stored in a digital wallet, which could then be converted into a coded string of numbers. These numbers can be printed or saved into a file and then copied into a USB flash drive. But most people keep their digital currency in an online digital wallet or an investment account. If you download Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet like Exodus, your wallet will be assigned an address where you can receive Bitcoin, just like a bank account number. When you want to send Bitcoin to someone else, you use their wallet address and enter the amount of coin you want to send. You can also keep your Bitcoin in an account like PayPal or Robinhood, but keep in mind these platforms don't actually give you a wallet address, so you are stuck with using Bitcoin within these platforms themselves. That will probably change later on, but for now, this is just a very limited, although fast, way of using Bitcoin. So the next part is the ledger. The exchange of Bitcoin from one wallet to another creates a transaction, and this transaction needs to be written to a ledger for record keeping. Instead of writing this transaction to a ledger that's stored at a bank like Wells Fargo or Chase, this transaction goes out into the internet where someone needs to grab it and process it. Processing it involves sending it to multiple computers around the internet, so that it is impossible for this transaction to get lost. If you've heard of the word blockchain, in simple terms, that's what this is. It's the ledger or record of all the transactions for Bitcoin. The last part is the miner. Those computers that process the transactions are referred to as miners, like gold miners. These miners are validating the transactions and writing them to the ledger, and as a reward, they get a small piece of Bitcoin. In the beginning, when the ledger was small, it was easier to process a transaction, so a home computer could do the work of Bitcoin mining. Then the ledger grew, and you needed a gaming computer. And now the ledger is so large, these miners are specially designed computers that can cost thousands of dollars. The only way Bitcoin could stop working is if all the miners in the world decided to stop mining altogether. Now, you may have heard that Bitcoin has a limited supply. So what happens when all the Bitcoin is mined? Well, based on the mathematical equation that runs Bitcoin, the last coin is not expected to be mined until around 100 years from now. But even then, even after the last coin is mined, miners will still have an incentive to continue validating transactions because every wallet-to-wallet transaction incurs a fee that goes to pay the miners. So why is Bitcoin price going up? As I mentioned earlier, a few years ago, specifically in 2017, the price of Bitcoin was going up steadily throughout the year. Some people started getting into mining it and investing in it, and word of mouth caused the price and popularity to snowball. Then, as usually happens, that bull run ended, and it ended pretty dramatically. The price went from under $1,000 in 2016 to a high of $19,000 in late 2017, and then it dropped back down to under $5,000. Then it took the next 2 years to steadily creep back up to $9,000 and $10,000. At that rate, it seemed that it would take many years before it get back up to $20,000. But when the economy and the dollar is unstable, other investment opportunities start to look a little better. When the stock markets are not doing well, precious metals, gold and silver start selling more as demand increases. And Bitcoin has actually started to follow a similar pattern. Cut to 2020, a once-in-a-century type of situation, and many people lost their jobs, and the virus encouraged switching to digital payment methods, and others started looking at Bitcoin again as a hedge against the inflation of the dollar. Once again, word of mouth caused the price and popularity to snowball, except that this time there was a difference. Wall Street is buying into the idea. And in my opinion, they see this as a second chance to jump in because they missed the ball in 2017. And so did a lot of other people. So now they've been pouring millions, if not billions of dollars into Bitcoin as the price continues to rise. And that leads to a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Since Wall Street, the institutional money, the investment firms are putting their money into it, this tells the average Joe with a couple $100 to spare that this is a legitimate investment. And it just snowballs more and more. We have big names like JP Morgan and Bloomberg predicting the true value of Bitcoin at $400,000. This means that for anyone that feels like they've missed out, you have and you haven't. If you missed the boat back in 2012, 2014, and 2017, and 2019, well, this is yet another chance to get in. We never know how long a bull run will last, but Bitcoin is likely to drop again as those people who are less optimistic about the price begin to sell off and cash in on their profits. So keep an eye out for that. As one last reminder, do your research, budget your money, and invest wisely.